cue for us to track. So that's what's really going on globally. But let's talk about all of the cues that you should also track as far as our own markets go. We have our research team joining in with the trade setup this morning. Nigel, Vivek and Vahishta all join me now to take you through the trade setup and all of the stocks that could be in the news today. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. And Vivek, let me come across to you first. After a while, I can finally say that the handover has been positive.
That's right. So 6 straight sessions of losses, and finally one day, we are actually seeing some green as far as the screen is concerned. Yesterday was an extremely volatile session, like we highlighted. Over a 1,500-point recovery from the day's low as far as the Dow Jones was concerned. And this has actually led to a lot of buying across the screen, even in the Asia and over today morning. But having a look at, how Europe also performed, Europe also, after a very volatile session, actually managed to recover quite sharply. And most of the European indices ended in the green as well. Now, coming to crude, and, again, this is something that's a little bit of a concern at this point of time. Brent prices too went up almost 2.5%. And NYMEX also went up almost 2.2%. to around $90 a barrel. Now, when you're talking about the data points today, remember China too just released their print data as well, the CPI data. The September CPI for China too came in around higher by 2.8%, and this was against an estimate of 2.9%. So some softening or slightly below what the market was anticipated. This has also led to increased buying activity. Coming closer to Indian markets, the Bank Nifty is indicating a good gap-up start as far as markets are concerned. Remember, Indian markets would be reacting to the strong earnings print of Infosys, Mindtree, and other companies as well. So it'll be interesting because it's an important day both for Indian as well as US markets. US markets too have very major banks reporting their earnings today. So it's going to be an interesting session.
All right, Vivek, thanks a lot for taking us through all of those cues. But let's also talk about the individual stocks that we should be tracking in trade today. Vahishta has that entire list. Vahishta, of course, Infosys will be the big one, and the ADR itself was up around 5%.
Yes, that's right, Pavitra. The first is Infosys. The constant currency revenue growth is coming at 4%, while the margins have jumped 150 basis points in Q2 of FY23. The company has said that FY23 revenue guidance has been revised 14-16% to 15-16%. So the guidance has just been tightened up. Now, moving on to Cyient, where the revenues and margins have come out as a miss. The dollar revenue was up 8.2% quarter on quarter, and the rupee revenue was up 11.7% on a quarter on quarter basis. For Mindtree, though, it had a strong show with the dollar revenue up 5.7% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and the EBITDA margins have come in at 21.05%. Angel One had their quarterly update, wherein the company has the highest ever quarterly revenue of 717 crores. Anand Rathi Wealth, the AUM was up 16% and is now at 35,800 crores. And the last stock is HDFC Life, wherein the company has received the final nod from the insurance regulator for the merger with Exide Life Insurance.
Okay, Vahishta, thanks a lot for taking us through all of those individual stocks that we should be tracking in today's session. We'll keep all of these on our radar. Finally, let me hand it over to Nigel, who's looking at all of the cues from the futures and options space. Hi, Nigel.
Well, morning, Pavitra. You said it right. After a while, we're seeing a green start to trade. So let's see whether or not we can end on the green note. Now, yesterday we had expiry. That's weekly expiry that did play out. And the bulls were giving a sense that they're fighting back. But because it was expiry and because the institutions were net sellers yesterday to the tune of close to 900 crores odd, we ended in the red, though we defended the 17,000 mark on a closing basis. I was looking at the live indicators that we have. And on the Nifty itself, there was some short addition because the Nifty ended low and there was some bit of open interest build up. However, on the Nifty Bank, people were a little bit disappointed. Why didn't that participate yesterday? It appears there was more unwinding of long positions. So there was no shorting that we saw on the Nifty Bank itself. What did the FIs do? Well, they added shorts yet again. And now I think, they're overdoing it. Close to around 6,000 contracts is what they added yesterday. The short positioning continues at around 81% odd. Now, the hope is that if we get some bit of positive news, like the global handover is positive, maybe, just maybe, the shorts could get squeezed out. Remember, when it goes to around 86-87%, that's generally when we do see a bit of a short covering bounce. The crucial options as well come up for you on the screen. The 17,000 put, that has the highest amount of open interest for this weekly expiry as well as the next one. So that is the line in the sand out there. That's giving you a sense of 16,800 to 16,900 odd mark could get protected. 17,100 put as well, fairly active in trade. The call writing, though, was seen at around the 17,000 call. Now, that's very important because yesterday the premium started around 250. It ended closer to around 200 rupees approximately. And the resistance level will come in at around the 17,250. The SGX is indicating a start over them. If we can hold above that level, I'll tell you what, we'll be in for a massive short covering bounce. The other stock to look at towards the end of trade will be HDFC Bank, because numbers tomorrow. Back to you, Pavitra.
All right, Nigel, thanks a lot for taking us through, all of those cues that we're tracking from the futures and options space. So let's see where we start. It definitely looks like a positive start. We'll see if we can sustain and hold on to those opening gains. With that, we're going to get into a short break now. But when we come back, Infosys reported its second quarter earnings